Deep space was silent. Far beyond known trade routes, far beyond patrol lines and maps, a mixed alien exploration fleet moved slowly through darkness. No stars shone nearby. No planets gave light. This sector of space was avoided by most travelers. It was empty, cold, and forgotten. That was why the fleet was there. The explorers came from many species. Some were tall and armored. Others were small and sharp-eyed. A few were old, ancient beings who had watched stars rise and die. Together, they scanned the dark sector, searching for lost relics, dead civilizations, or forgotten resources. Nothing was expected. Then the sensors screamed. At first the alert was ignored. Space often produced false signals, radiation ghosts, broken echoes, sensor errors. But the warning did not fade. Instead, it grew stronger. The main scanner displayed a massive shape. It was huge. Too huge. The fleet commander ordered silence on all channels. The explorers stared at the projection floating in the center of the command deck. The object was a ship. Not debris, not a moon. A ship. Active, massive, old yet still moving. Data streamed in quickly. The classification system struggled to process it. The computer paused, recalculated, then displayed a result that made the bridge go silent. Class 33. Deathworld vessel. The words felt heavy. Class 33 ships were forbidden technology. They were not normal warships. They were not built for defense or conquest. They were built only by extinction-level species races that had faced total destruction and survived. Most records of such species ended in silence. The explorers exchanged uneasy glances. That classification must be wrong, one officer said. No active Class 3 vessel should exist. Another replied, correct. They are either destroyed or sealed forever. Yet the ship was there, still drifting, still alive. Some of the explorers laughed nervously. A weapon left behind by a dead empire, one suggested. A relic drifting without a master. Another shook their head. No, it could be a trap. Something that waits. The argument spread across the bridge. Some believed the ship was abandoned, its systems running on old automation. Others feared it was watching them. But one thing was clear. The ship did not attack. It did not lock weapons. It did not change speed. It simply drifted, calmly, as if unaware. Or uninterested. The fleet commander ordered the ships to move closer. Slowly, carefully, they approached the massive vessel. Visual scans activated. The first images appeared on screen. The ship was ugly. There were no elegant curves, no glowing patterns, no symbols of pride or culture. Its hull was dark, layered with thick armor plates scarred by time. Deep marks showed where weapons had struck long ago and failed. This ship had been hit many times and survived. There were no banners, no markings, no language that matched any known species. That design is inefficient, one engineer said, confused. Heavy armor where it isn't needed, redundant systems everywhere, another added. The layout makes no sense for speed or elegance. The commander frowned. Then why build it this way? Silence followed. A junior officer, quiet until now, studied the ship closely. His species was known for pattern recognition. He noticed something others had missed. This ship was not designed to win battles, he said slowly. The bridge turned toward him. It was designed to survive them. The words settled heavily in the air. More data arrived. Internal scans showed active life support systems, not automated. Active. Life signs appeared on the display. The numbers shocked everyone. The crew inside the ship could survive extreme gravity. High radiation, long-term isolation. Bone density readings were unusually high. Muscle mass readings exceeded standard galactic limits. No known species fits this profile, a scientist whispered. Records were searched. Archives opened. Old data surfaced. Most of it classified or forgotten. One ancient file described a Deathworld species from the edge of known space. Emotionally unstable, highly adaptable, physically resilient, marked as too dangerous to integrate. The file had only one name before it ended. The name was erased. The ship continued drifting. Its engines glowed faintly, controlled and steady. It did not flee. It did not threaten. It simply existed. The explorers felt something new. Not fear. Not yet. Unease. This ship was not lost. It was waiting. The fleet commander made a decision. All weapons remain offline, he ordered. No aggressive actions. The explorers prepared a standard contact signal, peaceful, formal, and cautious. The signal was sent. No response. Minutes passed. Then more. The ship did nothing. Finally, the commander spoke again, his voice calm but tense. If this vessel is active, someone is inside. The bridge fell silent. Every eye remained fixed on the massive dark shape drifting before them. The decision was made. They would send a direct signal inside the ship and wait for an answer. The signal crossed the empty space between the explorers and the massive Deathworld ship. It was not a message of words. It carried no language. It was a simple universal pattern, peaceful, neutral, and clear. A greeting. The fleet waited. Nothing happened. The dark vessel continued to drift, its massive body silent against the stars. No engines flared. No weapons charged. No shields appeared. Some officers relaxed. Probably automated, one said. An old system running without a crew. But the scanners told a different story. Life signs inside the ship remained steady, not fading, not weak, alive. Minutes passed. Then, without warning, the Deathworld ship responded. A pulse spread outward, not violent, not aggressive, but powerful. It washed over the exploration fleet like a silent wave. Every screen flickered for a brief moment, then stabilized. The bridge went quiet. Data poured in faster than before. The ship had acknowledged them. It's not an attack, the science officer said quickly. Just a data response. What kind? The commander asked. The officer hesitated. A systems handshake, like, it's checking who we are. That made the bridge uneasy. Ships usually did not check others. They ignored them, or destroyed them. This one was curious. The Deathworld vessel adjusted its drift slightly. The movement was slow, controlled, and deliberate. It turned just enough to face the exploration fleet more directly. No weapons came online. But the message was clear. I see you. Detailed scans unlocked new information. The ship's internal structure was vast. Layer upon layer of compartments, redundant corridors, multiple command centers, systems designed to continue functioning even if most of the ship was destroyed. This is not a relic, an engineer said quietly. It's maintained, another officer added. Someone is repairing it, constantly. The commander narrowed his eyes. Then they've been here a long time. A long silence followed. One of the older beings on the bridge, an ancient scholar, whose species measured time and centuries, spoke at last. This ship was not built for comfort, he said, nor pride, nor exploration. He paused. It was built for endurance. The scanners continued their work. The life signs became clearer. The crew inside the ship moved freely in gravity levels far above galactic norms. Their heart rhythms showed stress tolerance far beyond standard limits. Their bodies could survive injuries that would kill most known species. No genetic match, the science officer reported. Nothing exact. Then another alert appeared. Historical cross-reference found. A forgotten archive opened. The file was old, so old that many species on the bridge had not existed when it was written. The text described a Deathworld species from a high-gravity planet. A race born under violent skies, unstable land, and constant danger. The file warned, emotion-driven, highly adaptable, extreme survival instinct, do not corner, do not isolate, do not provoke. The name of the species had been removed, erased. The bridge was silent again. This is superstition, one officer said sharply. Old fear from a weaker age. Another agreed. If they were dangerous, they would have conquered space. The ancient scholar shook his head slowly. Not all survivors seek empires, he said. Some seek distance. The Deathworld ship sent another signal. This time, it was clearer. Still no words, but intent. Permission. It was opening a narrow communication channel. The explorers hesitated. Opening a channel with a Class 3 vessel was against every safety rule, but curiosity and pride pushed them forward. The commander nodded. Open it. The channel activated. Static filled the bridge. Then silence. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a voice spoke. Not loud, not threatening. Calm, measured. Controlled. Controlled. This is a human vessel, the voice said. You are approaching restricted survival space. The word echoed in the minds of every explorer. Human. Some laughed. That's impossible, an officer said. Humans are a minor species. Divided, another added. Emotion-driven, weak. The voice continued, unchanged by their reactions. You have not been fired upon because you have not acted with hostility. The commander leaned forward. Human vessel, he said carefully. Your ship is classified as a Class 3 Deathworld design. Explain. There was a brief pause. Then the human voice replied. We built it that way because space is not gentle. The bridge felt colder. The human speaker continued. Our ships are not meant to impress. They are meant to last. The explorers watched the massive dark hull outside their viewports. Scars, armor, endurance. The human voice added one final line before the channel closed. You found us because we stopped hiding. The connection ended. No threats, no demands, just a statement. The explorers stared at one another. Long-range sensors suddenly updated. New signals appeared. Multiple, far away, too many, moving fast. The Deathworld ship powered up fully, and the human voice returned. You should leave, it said calmly. What is coming was not meant for you. The bridge of the exploration fleet was silent after the channel closed. No one laughed now. The word human still echoed in their minds, heavy and uncomfortable. Humans were known to the galaxy, or at least the galaxy believed it knew them. Divided, loud, emotional, a species that argued more than it planned, a species that never unified long enough to matter. Yet outside the viewport drifted a ship that did not fit that image. The Deathworld vessel powered up further. Deep lines of light spread across its hull as dormant systems awakened. Energy readings climbed, but not in a way that suggested aggression. It was preparing. The fleet commander swallowed and ordered long-range scans again. What is coming? He asked quietly. The answer came faster than expected. The sensors detected massive shapes tearing through deep space. Not ships in formation, but swarms. Living fleets, cold and fast. Their movement patterns matched no known alliance. One of the scientists whispered, System eaters. The ancient scholar closed his eyes. They are real, he said. The old warnings were true. Panic spread through the bridge. Those creatures were stories told to frighten young officers. A roaming force that stripped systems clean and moved on. Entire civilizations erased without communication or negotiation. They are weeks away, the science officer reported. Maybe less. The Deathworld ship sent another signal. This time the explorers answered immediately. The human voice returned, calm as before. You see them now, it said. The commander spoke carefully. You knew they were coming. Yes, how long? The pause was longer this time. Long enough, the human replied. The commander clenched his hands. Then why didn't you warn the galaxy? Another pause. Because the galaxy didn't listen last time. The human continued. We tried cooperation. We tried warnings. We tried treaties. The voice remained steady, but something heavy moved beneath it. When we spoke of survival, they called us paranoid. The Deathworld ship adjusted position, placing itself slightly between the explorers and the approaching signals. We learned, the human said. Talking was not enough. The explorers listened. No one interrupted. Humans come from a violent world, the voice explained. Our planet tried to kill us every day. Storms, quakes, disease, predators. The ship's internal lights pulsed softly. Survival is not theory to us. It is memory. The explorers looked again at the ship's rough design, the layered armor, the redundant systems, the lack of beauty. We don't build ships to win wars, the human said. We build them to stay alive when wars come. The commander felt a chill. You hid, he said. You left known space. Yes. Why? Because the galaxy fights for power, the human answered. We fight for existence. The ancient scholar finally spoke. You expected this threat to return. Yes. And you prepared alone. Yes. The scholar nodded slowly. Then this ship is not unique. The human voice did not deny it. Our fleets are spread, it said. Watching, waiting. The explorers exchanged looks of disbelief. How many? Someone asked quietly. The human did not answer directly. Enough. Silence followed. The approaching signals grew clearer. The enemy swarm moved without hesitation, without fear. The human captain spoke again. You should leave this sector. The commander hesitated. And abandon you? The response was immediate. We are not asking for rescue. The Deathworld ship's weapons came online for the first time. Not flashy beams. Not glowing cannons. Heavy systems. Kinetic launchers. Weapons designed to hit hard and keep hitting. This is where we hold, the human said. The commander felt something unexpected. Shame. All this time, the galaxy had mocked humans for their caution, their hesitation, their silence. Now it was clear. Humans were not afraid. They were patient. Can we help? The commander asked. Another pause. Yes, the human replied. How? Leave, the human said, and tell the galaxy what you saw. The commander stared at the Deathworld ship. It stood alone against something vast and merciless. You will die, he said. The human voice was calm. Possibly. Then softer, but not quietly. The enemy signals surged closer. The Deathworld ship moved forward, not retreating, advancing. The commander gave the order. The exploration fleet turned away and jumped to faster-than-light speed, fleeing with heavy hearts and racing thoughts. As the stars stretched and vanished, the commander sent a priority message to the galactic network. His report was short, urgent, and terrifying. Class 3 Deathworld vessels confirmed active, operated by humans. They are not hiding. They are waiting. Behind them, unseen, the Deathworld ship charged toward the incoming darkness, and the human captain whispered to his crew, battle stations. The Deathworld ship moved alone into the dark. Its engines burned with a deep, steady light as it left the last known sensor range of the fleeing exploration fleet. The stars ahead were thin and cold. The space behind it was empty. The enemy was coming. Inside the human vessel, alarms did not scream. There was no panic. The crew moved calmly through wide armored corridors. Each person knew their role. Each had trained for this moment for years. The human captain stood on the command deck, watching the distant signals grow brighter. They are faster than last time, one officer reported. The captain nodded. They always improve. The enemy fleet emerged from the darkness like a living storm. Thousands of shapes twisted through space, black and sharp, moving without formation. They did not signal. They did not slow down. They only advanced. The Deathworld ship did not retreat. It slowed. The captain raised his hand. Hold fire, he said. The crew obeyed. The enemy closed the distance. Scanners screamed warnings. Impacts were predicted. Escape paths vanished. Any normal ship would have jumped away or fired wildly in fear. The Deathworld ship did neither. At the last moment, the captain spoke. Now. The first weapon fired. There was no bright beam, no dramatic flash. Just force. A massive kinetic round launched forward, faster than thought. It tore through space and struck the leading enemy vessel. The impact did not explode, it erased. The enemy ship folded inward and vanished, crushed by raw energy. The enemy swarm reacted instantly. They attacked from every direction. Energy blasts slammed into the Deathworld ship's hull. The armor glowed, cracked, and held. Systems shook. Some lights dimmed. But the ship remained steady. Damage report, the captain said. Outer armor damaged, an officer replied. No breach. The captain nodded. Return fire. More kinetic weapons launched. Precise. Measured. Every shot destroyed a target completely. The enemy adapted quickly. They spread out, trying to surround the human ship. Smaller attack units rushed forward, sacrificing themselves to weaken the armor. They failed. The Deathworld ship rotated slowly, keeping its strongest armor facing the heaviest attacks. Automated systems sealed damaged sections instantly. Crews rerouted power without hesitation. The human crew did not shout. They did not celebrate. They worked. The enemy fleet pressed harder, then something changed. A massive enemy structure emerged from the swarm, larger than the rest, thicker, smarter. A command unit, target identified, the weapons officer said. That one controls the swarm. The captain's eyes narrowed. All guns, he said calmly. Focus fire. The Deathworld ship unleashed everything it had. The enemy command unit fought back, launching weapons powerful enough to shatter planets. The ship shook violently. One section of armor collapsed inward. A human crew member was thrown against a wall. He stood up. He returned to his station. The final kinetic strike hit the enemy command unit dead center. The structure cracked, then broke apart. The swarm hesitated. For the first time, the enemy slowed. The human captain did not waste the moment. All batteries, he said. Push. The Deathworld ship surged forward, tearing through the disorganized enemy fleet. Every movement was intentional. Every shot ended a threat. The enemy began to retreat. But humans did not chase. They held their position. Minutes later, the battlefield fell silent. Wreckage drifted through space like ash after a fire. The Deathworld ship remained, damaged, scarred, alive. The crew exhaled slowly. Enemy destroyed, an officer said. The captain shook his head. No, he said. This was only the front. Long-range sensors confirmed his words. More signals appeared, many more. The enemy had learned. The human captain opened a secure channel. Send the warning, he ordered. The message spread faster than fear. Across distant systems, alien leaders received the transmission. It showed the battle, the damage, the survival. And the final line spoken by the human captain, "We will hold as long as we can. But the galaxy must choose now." The message ended. Back on the Deathworld ship, emergency repairs began immediately. Humans worked with burned hands, cracked bones, and exhausted bodies. No one complained. The captain looked at the incoming signals. They were closer, stronger. He spoke quietly. "They're coming in force." The crew stood ready. Behind them, far away, the galaxy watched the recordings in stunned silence. They finally understood. Humans were not weak. Humans were not reckless. Humans were the last wall, and the darkness was testing it. The warning spread across the galaxy faster than panic. On capital worlds, leaders stopped arguing. On war-torn planets, fleets halted mid-battle. On quiet stations, old beings stared at screens in disbelief. They watched the recording again and again. A single Deathworld ship, alone, facing a swarm that had erased civilizations, and surviving. The message from the human captain echoed in every chamber. The galaxy must choose now. For the first time in centuries, the great powers did not laugh at humanity. They were silent. Emergency councils formed within hours. Ancient species argued with shaking voices. Younger empires demanded answers. Some wanted to hide. Some wanted to run. Others wanted to know the truth. Human space, long ignored and avoided, suddenly lit up with traffic. Diplomatic ships approached carefully. They were not fired upon. They were allowed to wait. Inside human command zones, there was no celebration, no victory speeches, only preparation. Shipyards that had once seemed quiet now roared with activity. Hidden docks opened. Stored fleets powered on. What the galaxy had seen before were not warships. They were sentinels. The real fleets were waking up. Back at the battlefield, the Deathworld ship continued to drift among wreckage. Fires burned along its hull. Internal systems were damaged, but stable. The crew worked without rest. One officer looked at the sensor display and spoke softly. "They're regrouping." The captain nodded. "They always do." "How many this time?" The answer appeared on the screen. "Thousands." Then more. The enemy was learning. The human captain opened a secure channel. "This is Captain Hale," he said, calling all active human units. The reply came instantly. Not one voice, many. Calm, focused, ready. Coordinates received. Jumping now. Standing by. Standing by. Across space, something shifted. Bright points appeared in deep space, far too many to count. The enemy noticed. They changed formation, sensing danger for the first time. The Deathworld ship powered up its engines. "Hold position," the captain ordered. "Let them see us." The first human fleet arrived without warning. Not through gates, not through known lanes. They tore into space itself and emerged in perfect formation. The ships were not beautiful. They were terrifying. Thick armor, heavy frames, weapons mounted openly, without shame. Every vessel looked like it had been built to be hit. And keep going. Alien observers watching from far systems felt something break inside them. This was not a response. This was a decision. The enemy attacked immediately. They rushed the human fleets with everything they had. Human ships did not scatter. They advanced. The battle that followed was not chaotic. It was controlled. Human fleets moved like a wall, absorbing attacks that would have destroyed alien armadas. Damaged ships fell back, replaced instantly by others. No gaps. No panic. The Deathworld ship joined the line, its scarred hull taking its place among equals. The enemy tried new tactics. Human fleets adapted faster. The enemy used overwhelming numbers. Humans answered with precision. Every strike was deliberate. Every loss was calculated. This was not rage. This was experience. On distant worlds, alien leaders finally understood the truth. Humanity had not stayed quiet because it was weak. Humanity had stayed quiet because it was preparing. A massive enemy command structure pushed forward, larger than anything before. Human sensors locked onto it. The human fleets paused. Then the command came. All human units, Captain Hale said calmly, target the core. What followed was not flashy. It was final. Thousands of human weapons fired together. Kinetic rounds, focused energy, precision strikes aimed at weak points discovered through long study. The enemy command structure broke apart. The swarm collapsed. Without command, the enemy scattered and died. Silence returned to the battlefield. This time, it lasted longer. The human fleets held position. No pursuit, no celebration. They waited. Across the galaxy, a final message spread. It was not a threat. It was not a demand. It was a statement. Humanity will not rule the galaxy. Humanity will not ask for worship, but humanity will not allow extinction. Alien councils recorded the message. Some leaders bowed their heads. Others closed their eyes in shame. The Deathworld ship powered down slightly, its task complete. Captain Hale looked at the stars. "We held," he said. An officer asked quietly, "What happens now?" The captain answered without hesitation. "Now the galaxy decides whether it stands with us or hides behind us." Far away, ancient beings whispered a new truth to one another. Humanity was not the last hope. Humanity was the last line, and it had not broken. The battlefield stayed quiet. Wreckage drifted slowly through space, glowing softly as it cooled. Broken enemy ships floated like dark shadows, harmless now. The human fleets held their positions, engines steady, weapons ready but silent. They did not chase. They did not celebrate. They waited. Across the galaxy, leaders watched the final images again and again. The recording showed something no one had expected to see in their lifetime. Order in chaos. Strength without cruelty. Power without hunger. Emergency councils reconvened, but the tone had changed. No one shouted anymore. No one laughed. Ancient rulers who once mocked humanity now spoke carefully, choosing every word. The same question echoed everywhere. What do humans want? A diplomatic request was sent to human space. This time, it was not ignored. A single human vessel answered. Not a warship, not armored, just a simple diplomatic craft. When the transmission opened, the human representative spoke calmly. "We want what we always wanted," she said, "to exist." The councils listened. "We did not build Deathworld ships to scare the galaxy," she continued. "We built them because extinction does not ask permission." She explained humanity's past in simple words. How they were once part of the wider galactic community, how warnings were dismissed, how early attacks forced humans to retreat, how silence became safety. And while the galaxy argued, she said, we prepared. No threats followed, no demands, only truth. Back at the battlefield, the Deathworld ship began repairs. Entire sections of armor were replaced. Burned systems were restored. The ship looked battered but strong. Human crews worked beside one another quietly. One young officer looked at the stars and asked, "Will they fear us now?" The captain considered the question. "Yes," he said. "Some will. Is that bad?" The captain shook his head. "Fear keeps distance," he replied. "Distance keeps peace." The exploration fleet that first found the Deathworld ship finally returned, escorted by human vessels. Their commander requested permission to speak. The human captain accepted. "You were right," the alien commander said slowly. "We were arrogant." The human captain did not argue. "You warned us," the alien continued. "We laughed." The human captain remained silent. "What happens now?" the alien asked. The human answered simply, "Now you remember." Throughout the galaxy, records were rewritten. Old archives were reopened. Forgotten warnings were restored. Humanity was no longer listed as a minor species, nor as a threat. They were listed as sentinels. A new classification, a new understanding. Trade routes reopened near human space, but carefully. Borders were redrawn, not to contain humans, but to give them room. Human fleets did not expand. They did not conquer, they stayed where they were, watching, waiting. The Deathworld ship returned to its patrol route, scarred but unbroken. It drifted through dark sectors where no one else dared to go, not as a symbol of fear, but as proof. On distant worlds, stories spread. Parents told their children, "Do not judge silence." Commanders taught their cadets, "Do not mistake patience for weakness." Ancient beings updated their final records with one last note: humanity does not seek war, but when war comes, humanity endures. Years later, another threat stirred at the edge of known space. Before panic could spread, sensors detected movement. Human ships were already there. The threat vanished quietly. No message was sent. No warning was needed, because the galaxy understood now. If a Deathworld ship appeared, it was not lost. It was not abandoned. It was not a mistake. It was humanity standing where no one else could. And in the deepest parts of space, where darkness waited and tested the strong, one truth echoed without words: humanity survived its world. Humanity survived the galaxy. And humanity would survive whatever came next.